we are looking at your textbook page. Okay, this will be okay, page 1239, 239 eh. So this is where we're going to continue from last week. Okay, ready? Okay, so in this case, right, guys, you have learned about straight lines. You have learned how to, determine if a line is parallel to another line. Okay, so for today, we are going to determine the equation of a straight line. Okay, so as usual, you should know that equation of a straight line is actually given by this formula here. Okay, so this is the equation of straight line, which is y equivalent to mx plus c. So you have to remember this. Okay, so how do you determine the equation? How do you find the equation? Okay, your first step is to know the gradient. So you have to know the value of m, which is the gradient. Okay, the second step will be, okay, if you are given a point, okay, if you are given a point, then make sure, okay, the point should be on the straight line. Okay, so if the point that you were given is on the straight line, okay, so you can substitute the gradient with the x and y coordinate from the point. So if given by point x, y, okay, so once they give you point x and y, you already know the value of m. That means you can find c. So when you find c, okay, the variable that you have to find here is m and c. So once you know the value of m and c, that means you can get an equation of a straight line. So I will go by this by showing you the first example. Okay, so let's move on to the example. Okay, so guys, look at this example. This is example 11. Determine the equation of a straight line with a gradient of 1/2 and passes through point 6, 8. Okay, so here in the question they have given you, okay, they have given you a clue that the point actually do go through the straight line. Okay, so first thing you have to know, this is the equation. Y is equivalent to mx plus c. So do you know what is m? M is gradient. So what is the value of m? Okay, value of m is 1. You are going to substitute m equivalent to 1/2. Okay, and you are also going to substitute x. Okay, what is the value of x here? Because you already know point P is on the line. So this is x and this is y. Okay, so x is equivalent to 6. Okay, y is equivalent to 8. So you have these three values that you are going to substitute. So how are you going to do that? Y is equivalent to, okay, 1/2x plus c. Okay, so 1/2x is because the gradient was 1/2. So I'm going to substitute y now with the value of 8. 1/2 multiply with value of x is 6. Okay, so here you will be getting 8 plus 3, I'm sorry, 8 equivalent to 3 plus c. So the unknown here will be c. Okay, so what is the value of c? C will be equivalent to 8 subtract 3, which gives you 5. Okay, so let's check. We already know the value of m. We already know the value of c. So if you already know the value of m and c, that means you can conclude here, guys, the equation of a straight line will be y equivalent to 1/2x plus 5. Okay, so this is the answer. Okay, I hope you understand. So let's try another example. Okay, if you look at the comparison of another example here, right, example 12. Okay, example 12 actually gives us an idea of how to get an equation point. But in this case now, right, guys, in this case now, right, okay, you do not have the gradient. Okay, so what is given to you? You're only given, okay, this is what's given to you. you are only given 2 points. So when you are given 2 points, how are you going to find the answer? Okay, so 2 points. So when you have 2 points, okay, teacher will show you in the example itself. Okay, so now the question, it has 2 points. So let's check the points. You have P negative 1, 5, negative 1, 5, and you have Q 2, negative 7. Okay, and there is another piece of information which is crucial for you to know and understand, that this point is the one on the straight line. Okay, they have given in the question. Okay, this straight line passes through the point. Okay, so when it passes through the point, that means it proves that it is part of the equation. Okay, so guys, first step, as you know, when you are writing the equation, you need to know what is M and you need to know what is C. Okay, this is the two most important information that you have to find before you can finalize the equation. So how do you find gradient when 2 points are given? Okay, so if you still remember, we have formulas to find gradient. Okay, so there is 2 type of formula. First formula, okay, if you still remember, it uses the y-intercept, negative y-intercept divided by x-intercept. So this is one method. Okay, the second method is to use the coordinates. Okay, any coordinates or any points that is on the straight line will give you the same gradient. Okay, so how do you use the formula now? Okay, it will be y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1. So now we are going to use this formula. Okay, we're going to use this formula because this is more relevant in this question. Okay, so let's look at P. So negative 1, 5. So I'm going to name this. Okay, and Q you have as 2, negative 7. Okay, so let's name it. So I'm going to put this as x1, y1. This is x1, 2, y2. Okay, let's put that into the formula. Okay, so M or gradient is equivalent to negative 7 subtract 5 divided by 2 subtract negative 1. Okay, so negative 7 and negative 5 gives you negative 12. Okay, 2, negative and negative gives you positive, so 2 plus 1 is 3. So your answer will be negative 4. Okay, so you already found your gradient. So back to this, what do you do after you find your gradient? After you know the gradient, then you substitute the value of M, X and Y, okay, to find the y-intercept. So which point can you use? Can I use P? Can I use Q? Okay, the answer is you can use any of the point. So let me just choose point P. Okay, so I'm going to take point P as the point to refer to, okay, to find the value of C. Okay, so y equivalent to mx plus c. So back to this equation. Okay, what's the value of y? Y is 5. What's the value of m? M is negative 4. What's the value of x? Negative 1. Okay, just give me a moment, class. Okay, negative 1 plus c. So here you will get 5, 4, negative 4 multiply negative 1, you get positive 4 plus c. So c or y-intercept is equivalent to 5 minus 4, which is 1. Okay, so the equation now is y equivalent to, what is value of m just now? Negative 4x plus 1. Okay, so this is the equation. Okay, so example 11 and example 12. Okay, then let's see your textbook again. So let's go on. Okay, so let's look at example 13. Okay, so example 13 we'll just look from the textbook itself. Okay, in example 13, right, the diagram on the right shows a straight line PQ. So we have a straight line PQ. Let me just write that for you. Okay, so you have a straight line PQ and RS. Okay, so PQ and RS are two straight lines. Given that straight line PQ is parallel to the x-axis, so this is x-axis, okay, and the RS is parallel to y-axis, all right. So they want you to find the equation of PQ. Okay, so in order to find the equation of PQ, okay, so this is the same method. You have 2 points. So when you have 2 points, you may use the formula y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1. So this is how you get the answer. So the gradient here is equivalent to 0. Okay, then the next thing is C. Okay, in this question, if you realize in the example here, they did not actually substitute m, x and y to find the y-intercept. Why is it so? Because this line PQ, okay, you have to know C is actually equivalent to the y-intercept. Okay, is equivalent to the y-intercept, and because you are also given a diagram which clearly shows you that this line PQ actually crosses, okay, it crosses on y-axis. So when it crosses on y-axis, what's the point here? What's the value of y? Okay, value of y is already given, which is 4. Okay, so that means the y-intercept is equivalent to 4. Okay, so in this case we can just put the values in, but because the gradient is 0, so 0 multiply x, that means it goes off, so the answer will be y equivalent to 4. Okay, so let's look at the second example. Okay, so if you remember, right, in the second example, okay, you can see the straight line is vertically straight. So when a line is vertically straight, you will get the gradient as undefined. Okay, so you may also try in your calculator. Whatever number when you divide with 0, you will not, you will either get a maths error, a syntax error, okay, but actually it is undefined. Okay, so because of the straight line which is undefined, okay, because it's undefined, that means y equivalent to mx plus c. So because this is undefined, okay, when this is undefined, that means the value of y is no more, the value of c is no more there. Okay, there's no y-intercept because it doesn't cross over y. Okay, so your answer will be based on what is the value of x. So if you look at this line, right, this line actually crosses x at 2. Okay, so that means the value will be x equivalent to 2. Okay, so guys, I'll be giving you exercise from Mind Test 9.1e. Okay, question 1a and D. Okay, so this will be two question based on the example. So how, if you're like, you know, when you're doing this exercise, guys, if you think you don't understand, go back and look at the example 12, example 11, example 13. Okay, there is a solution in all the questions that is given to you in your textbook. Okay, all right, so you may refer to the example given. Okay, let's go to the next page, guys, 241. Okay, so now we are going to go on. How do you determine a straight line which passes? Okay, look at the question, look at the focus here, straight line which passes through a point and parallel to another given straight line. So that means you are looking at two lines. Okay, so let's look at this example here, example 14. The diagram below shows the straight line AB with equation. Okay, AB, the equation has already been given to you. Determine the equation of a straight line parallel to AB. So there is this one line. Okay, let me name that as XY. Okay, so there's a line XY. Okay, this line, right, basically on this line, they have given you a point. Okay, so what is the thing that you remember about parallel line? Okay, if you still remember, when a line is parallel to another line, that means it shares the same gradient. Okay, so what is the gradient of line AB? Okay, so you look at this here. AB y equal to negative 2x plus 6. That means the gradient of AB is negative 2. Okay, so thus the gradient of the new line is also negative 2. Okay, so we already know this line. We're not sure of the equation, but it still share the same gradient. Okay, so now you have this point. So this is x1, y1. So you just put it in, substitute negative 2, 5 plus c. So you'll get 4, negative 10 plus c. So c is 4 plus 10. C is 14. Okay, that means you already know c. If you know m, you know c. That means you can write down the equation. So the equation is going to be y equivalent to negative 2x plus 14. Okay, that's all. Okay, let's continue, guys. Example 15. Okay, what is different in example 15? Determine the equation of straight line parallel to straight line 2x plus 3y equivalent to 12 and passes through point G68. So there's no diagram. It's okay if you don't have a diagram. You can always draw one. At least, when you have a diagram, it gives you an idea. Okay, it gives you an idea of what are you exactly looking at. Okay, so there is one parallel line. Okay, so there's no name given. It's okay, you can give a name for it, PQ. So the parallel, this line, the straight line has an equation of 2x plus 3y equal to 12. Then you have another line. Okay, so let me name that as RS. So RS is actually parallel to PQ. Okay, so in order to know if they are, in order to determine the gradient, right? So we have to look at the equation which is given in 2x plus 3y equal to 12. Okay, let's look at PQ. Okay, so you have to modify this equation which is given to you so that it matches with y equivalent to mx plus c. Okay, so that means you have to make y here. So 2x will be moving to the other side of the equal sign, which gives you negative 2x plus 12. Okay, so y is equivalent to negative 2 over 3x plus 12 over 3. So your equation is negative 2, 3x plus 4. So your main constant here is the gradient. So what is the gradient here? So the gradient is negative 2 over 3. Okay, so remember, whatever equation given to you, you have to change it to the standard form, which is y equivalent to mx plus c. Okay, if you are in this format, then only you can find the value of gradient. Okay, so the next thing is all going to be the same. Once you already know the gradient and the point is given to you, then what's the next step is to find the c. How do you find the c? Okay, y negative 2 over 3x plus c. Substitute. What is the value of y? Okay, so x and y. Okay, so x is 6, y is 8. Okay, so that means that will give you 8 equivalent to negative 4 plus c. So c is equivalent to 8 plus 4, which gives you 12. That means the equation, you already have c. So the equation will be y equivalent to negative 2 over 3x plus 12. Okay, guys. So that's about example 15. All right. So look through the examples, guys, because the methods are very clear. So just follow the steps in a textbook, and I'm sure that you can do the questions. Okay. So for mind test 9.1G, I will be giving you question number 2. So this is your second exercise. We'll be doing question number 2. All right. So the next one is, how do you determine the point of intersection of two straight lines? Okay, guys, this is a topic that you have learned when you were in Form 1. Okay, so if you still remember, in Form 1, you did linear equation. Okay, and when you did linear equation, you also learn on how to solve linear equation, simultaneous linear equation. Okay, one of the methods to solve simultaneous linear equation is using a graph. Okay, other than, of course, substitution method. Do you remember substitution method, elimination method? Okay, So if you are not using substitution method or elimination method, that means you can use graph to solve the problem. Okay guys, so a reminder, okay, you can also use calculator to check your answers. Okay, so the method is actually found in your textbook, um, form 1 textbook. Okay, so maybe I will send it to you in the Google Classroom on how to use your calculator to solve the question. Okay, all right. If you happen to have textbook, maths form 1 textbook, you may refer to page, okay, you may refer to page from 137. Page from 137, it actually maybe would refresh your memory on how to do substitution method, elimination method, and also using graph. Okay, so guys, let's continue. Determine the point of intersection of straight line 2x plus y equivalent to 5 and x plus 2y equivalent to 1. Okay. Okay, I'll be showing you this example in the whiteboard. Okay, so guys, let's see how it goes by. Yeah. Okay, so when you are finding a point of intersection, okay, so what are you looking for? You're looking for point of intersection. So how you do it? You have to build, okay, you have to build graph for 2x plus y equivalent to 5, and you also have to build a graph for x plus 2y equivalent to 1. So you have already learned on how to draw a graph, right? Okay, so graphical method, right, teaches you to do graph. So you have to have a table to put in the values. Okay, so all the best way, guys, if you look at all this equation, is to change it to the standard form, which is y equivalent to mx plus c. So this is the best way of doing it easily, and it will be more clearer to you. Okay, so in order to draw the graph now, you just create any data that you want, guys. That means you can choose any value for x. Okay, so in this example here, they have chosen negative 1, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They've chosen 6 points. Okay, but in reality, if you want to do a straight line, you don't really need too many points. Okay, you can also use 4 points and you're able to find the straight line. Okay, so you substitute the value of x in order to get the value of y. Okay, so once this has been done, you have to actually draw the graph. Okay, so once you draw the graph, and once you draw the second graph, you will see that both the graph will actually intersect. So this is the point of intersection. Okay, so point of intersection, so what is the coordinate? So you have to find the coordinate of point of intersection. So the coordinate will be 3, negative 1. So the coordinate is 3, negative 1. Okay, what does it mean when it is 3, negative 1? Okay, so let's do this using a normal standard method. Okay, and then you will know how the answers are related to each other. Okay, so let me just okay, I'm just going to put it down here. Okay, so let's do this, guys. So you have 2x. Okay, you have 2x plus y equivalent to 5. Okay, then you have x plus 2y equivalent to 1. So you have two methods. You can use substitution, you can use elimination. So maybe I would like to try substitution first, or maybe elimination. So anything will do, guys, so no worries. So if I'm going to do elimination, I have to make sure that I put the equation in term of x or in term of y. So I'm going to do this. So x is equivalent to, so this is referring to equation number 2. Okay, so x is equivalent to 1 subtract 2y. Okay, so now I'm going to substitute this. So this is going to be my new equation, which is 3. Okay, so I'm going to substitute 3 into 1. Okay, so 2x, so wherever you see x is going to be substituted with 1 minus 2y, 1 subtract 2y plus y equivalent to 5. Okay, so let's open the brackets here. So you'll get 2 subtract negative 4y plus y is equivalent to 5. Okay, negative 4 and y, you get negative 3y, 5 subtract 2. Okay, so y is equivalent to 3 divided by negative 3, y is equivalent to negative 1. Okay, so if you refer to the graph just now, right? Oops. Can you see that? What's the value of y? Negative 1. Okay, so let's see if you still get the value of x. Okay, so once you get the value of y, okay, the rest of the thing is going to be easy. Okay, so how do you find the value of x? Okay, right. Okay, so we have this. So substitute y equivalent to negative 1 into, okay, maybe I'll take 3, equation 3, x equivalent to 1 minus 2 and negative 1. So 1 plus 2, so x is equivalent to 3. So is x just now equivalent to 3? Let's check. Okay, so is it equivalent to 3? So point of intersection actually gives you the solution for the simultaneous linear equation. Okay, remember guys, simultaneous linear equation, you can find the solution by drawing a graph. Okay, from the graph, look for the point of intersection. Okay, or you can also use the substitute or the elimination method. Okay, so we have covered that. So let's go back. Okay, see guys, the example have been given. So I've only showed you elimination method, but in the textbook they have also showed you the substitution method. Okay, so please prefer go through the notes again, okay, and try to understand. Okay, so let's move on guys. Okay, okay, so the next question, right, the next thing we will have a brainstorming. Okay, so if you look at this brainstorming, okay, they is talking about 2 graphs. Okay, so I will use app to show you how the 2 graphs. Okay. Okay, so guys, this is using GeoGebra. Okay, so when you use GeoGebra, it actually makes it much more easier, right? Okay, so let's look at the first graph. Okay, what's the function given for the first graph? Yeah, okay, for the first graph, it's given as y equivalent to x plus 3. Okay, so I am referring to your textbook page 243. Okay, on brainstorming. So I'm referring to number 4. So example of the line given, which is y equivalent to x plus 3. So this is the first line that you get. This is the first linear equation. So let's look at the second linear equation. So the second linear equation is given with the equation y equivalent to negative x. So negative x plus 5. Okay, so this is the next equation. Okay, so when you compare, okay, so let's look at the graph. Okay, so when you look at the graph, right, the graph actually intersect at one point. So what point is this? So let's check the point. Okay, so the intersection point here, okay, let me just make it a bit more bigger so you can exactly see. Can you see the point here? So the point here is 1, 4. Okay, so 1, 4 is the intersection for the first graph. Okay, and what else can we find from this? Okay, so if, okay, so why do you have intersection? You only can have intersection if the line are not parallel. So in this case, these two straight lines are not parallel. So when they are not parallel, that's the reason why they could intersect. So when they intersect, they only intersect at one point. Remember, if two lines which are not parallel, okay, when they intersect, they only intersect at one point. Okay, so you may find the intersection point by actually drawing the both of the graphs, okay, or the graphs that's given to you. Okay, let's try another example. Okay, another example, maybe we'll do question number 7a. Not question, the instruction given on 7a. Okay, so let's do that. So they have y. Okay, give me a moment, class. So now they have y x plus 2. Okay, now I'm just going to change this. And then another one, they have 2x x plus 4. So at this line, okay, again, this two line, did you realize that the lines changed? Okay, the two line actually is not parallel. That's the reason why they meet each other. So when they meet each other, so what's the point of intersection? So in this case, the point of intersection is -2, 0. Okay, so guys, you may actually use GeoGebra. I've already informed you this before. Okay, just to work around the linear equation. Okay, so it will be fun when you keep changing the equation to find what's the connection and so on. Okay, so let's look at your textbook again. So what is the conclusion of this brainstorming? So out of this brainstorming, there is two important things as what I've told you before this. Okay, so the point of intersection can be determined of two straight lines. Remember, by plotting both straight lines on the Cartesian plane. And if the lines are not parallel, it intersect at only one point. Okay, so I will be giving you exercise from Mind Test 9.1H. Okay, maybe okay, so this they want you to this is just to remind yourself on how to do it, right? So question 1a and question 1b. So you are not using graph here. You are going to use substitution and elimination method. Okay, so yang ni just a recap of what you have done in form 1. Okay, so how do you solve problems involving straight lines? So this is the best part of it. Okay, so when you solve problem, you have to integrate. Okay, how many things that you have learned all throughout? You have learned to find gradient. Okay, so how many methods do you have in order to find gradient? One is using the intercepts. Okay, another one is using y2 minus y1 and x2 minus x1. Okay, so there's two methods here. So once you find m, you know how to find c. Okay, and you know c is also sometimes it's visible. If you have a graph given to you, it's visible because c is the y-intercept. So if you know what is c and you look at the diagram, so example for this, right? Okay, so the y-intercept here is going to be h. Okay, and the next thing that you also learn is when there is two straight line which is parallel, they have the same gradient. So gradient is the same. Okay, same gradient. Okay, and what else do you learn? Okay, so if you have two straight line crossing each other, so the point of intersection will be the solution for the linear equation. Okay, so these are a few things that you have learned in this chapter. So you are going to integrate what you have learned in order to find your answers. So I will end the section by giving you example 17. Okay, or maybe example 17. You have two examples here. So maybe I will show you example 17 and you can read through example 18. Okay, so that's the last one. Awesome. So far, do you have any questions? Do you understand what's going on? I hope you do. Okay. All right. So we'll be doing this. So if you could understand what's going on in example 17, that means you will be able to solve the rest of the questions. Okay, so let's look at this question one by one. Okay, so the diagram on the right shows a parallelogram. Okay, what do you understand or what do you know about parallelogram? Okay, the first thing that you remember, that you should remember, right? Parallelogram, it has parallel lines. So PS is actually parallel to QR. PQ is actually parallel to SR. So there is two pairs of parallel lines. Okay. Next, given the gradient of SR. Okay, so they have given you gradient of SR. So what is the gradient of SR? So SR, the gradient is given as 1 over 2. Okay, so if the gradient of SR is 1 over 2, that means the gradient of PQ is also 1 over 2. Okay guys, so this is how you make connections. Okay, and y-intercept of straight line PS. Okay, so you have straight line PS, so this is PS, and they have given us the y-intercept is -4. So where is -4? So T should be -4 because T is the point that actually crosses, okay, which crosses the y-intercept. Okay, so that means here T, this is the coordinate of T, 0, -4. Okay, so the first thing the question wants you to find the value of H. So where is H? Okay, H is connected here. You have the gradient but you don't have the equation. Okay, it's okay if you don't have the equation fully because you already have the gradient. Gradient is 1 over 2. Okay, so now your first step, you already know there is 2 points there. First point is -4, 6. Okay, and the second point is 0H. Okay, so now your concern, you may use the first point. Okay, so you know y is equal to 1 over 2 x plus c. How do you find c? You have point P, so you can find c. Okay, so what is value of y? Okay, I'll take as 6. Value of x is -4 plus c. Okay, so c is actually equivalent to 6 plus 2, which gives you 8. So the y-intercept is actually equivalent to 8. And if you realize, guys, this line itself, right? Can you see this line? This line actually crosses at the y-intercept. So that means h is equivalent to 8. It's the same. Okay, if you think, oh teacher, how is it possible? Okay, let's see this. So once you get c, you will create the equation, right? So y equivalent to 1 over 2x plus 8. Right? Okay, so now you have q. Q is given by OH. Okay, so let's substitute that, x and y. Okay, so y is h, 1 over 2 multiply 0 plus 8. Okay, so h is 8. So does it conclude the conclusion that I made? Okay, so you already know c is y-intercept, so you do not really need to do this method. Okay, because you already know that y-intercept is equivalent to 8. That means h is equivalent to 8. Okay, so that's for question A. So let's look at question B. Question B wants you to find the equation of a straight line PS. Okay, so straight line PS. Okay, what informations have been given to you? You have 2 points. Because you have 2 points, that means can you find the gradient? Of course you can find the gradient, right? Okay, so this is referring to straight line PS. Find the gradient. 2 points. What points do you have? You have P, -4, 6, and then you have T. It's okay if you don't have the coordinate of S. Okay, because you just need to know 2 points on the line to find the gradient. Okay, so -4 subtract 6, 0 subtract -4. Okay, so that will give you -10, 4. Okay, so what's the, so it will be -5 over 2. That's a gradient. So once you know the gradient, y is equivalent to -5 over 2x plus a c. So what's the value of c? So substitute. You can use t or you can use t. Okay, let me use t. Okay, because 0 makes my life easier. Okay, so negative 5. Okay, so what's the answer for c? C is equivalent to negative 4. Okay, if you're not doing this, it's also fine because you already know the y-intercept is negative 4. So this method is also, it's just an alternative. Okay, if you do not do this method, you can still know that the equation for PS is actually equivalent to negative 5 over 2 subtract negative x, sorry. Okay, negative 5 over 2x subtract negative 4. So this is the equation. So guys, we have found the equation. So the next question, x-intercept for straight line PS. So x-intercept, where does it intercept? Okay, so when it intercept on x means the value of y is equal to 0. So you can use the formula here. You already have the formula. Okay, so okay, make it small so that I can do it here. Okay, so when it's a x-intercept, the coordinate of y is equal to 0. So we just have to add ps equivalent to negative 5x to negative 4, right? So this is y. Okay. Okay, so this is actually y, guys, just to be clear on that. Okay, so what is the value of y now? So y will be equal to 0. Okay, negative 5x over 2, negative 4. Okay, so negative 5 to x equal to 4. So x is equivalent to 4 times 2 negative 5. Okay, so this actually gives you as negative 8 over 5. Okay, so that's it.